So I said, well, you're going to have to pay for it. So they had to pay for all of those parts because I wouldn't pay for them. Why should we? Why should we pay for somebody throwing parts at machines? It's not right. So you should be testing. If you have to test with a part, like I say, that's fine. I'm going to remove this part, I'm going to put this into place. If the fault goes away, we're okay, we're good. If it doesn't, I'm going to put this one back and I'll do something else. That's okay. But don't just take parts and put more parts on and throw them away. It's not the way the technician, you shouldn't be doing this. Say again?
These fuels we have, let's say capacity fuels, we can generate by from your side, or we can...
Yeah, you can get them from us, but I would get them locally. If you can get this locally, it's much cheaper than getting it from us.
This one need to be removed by solving.
No, just pulled out. So this here is a cover.
I thought it was fixed.
No, this here is a plastic cover.
Yeah.
So you remove it and you just pull it out.
That's fine.
That's it.
I thought it was fixed.
No. It has two little legs and you just push the legs into the holes.
It's like a piece of rubber.
Yeah, similar.
So the smallest one.
Yeah, it's a 4-amp.
It's like a cartridge.
So we have a company, you probably don't have it here, it's called R&S Component Suppliers. They supply all of these things. I'm sure you can get this locally. I'm sure. Okay, again, I'm going to have to, this is very difficult for me to explain it without the grill, so I'm going to do my best for you. So this is one of the motor boards, okay? This is one of the motor boards, the small motor boards. So there you have your power supply to the motor. There you have your data bus connection to that board. Data bus to the next board. Data connection to the stepper motor. Right, this is the important thing. This is very important. If you want to record this or take pictures, please do, because it's very important. Yes. On the boards, on the motor boards, there is a small loop of cable, which is a jumper. Okay? This jumper is telling the board which actuator it's working. Right.
It's like an address.
Like an address, very good, like an IP address. Right. Now, the problem is, engineers will call me and they say, Paul, I had a problem with one of the actuators. So what I've done is, I've moved a board from here to here, and I've moved this board to here, and now all the boards are mixed up. The important thing to remember is, this one is lower right front. It has a blue key, in this example, okay? If the lower right front is a blue key, it always has to have the blue key. So if I take this board, and I want to remove it and put it to the back, I must take the key out, take the key out the back board, move the boards, put the blue key back into the front board, and then put the key back into the back board. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You cannot move the key around the grill. If you move, I had an engineer call me with a 3-pattern grill. He'd moved all the boards, and nothing was working. And now I have to find out which key goes where. Now, you guys are in a good position, because you are going to get the newer version of the grill, and on where the board is located, on the top here, it's going to say red key, blue key, yellow key. It's going to tell you which key should be in that place. Okay? So please, if the key is in that place, it stays there. It never moves.
Only the board will be...
Only the board.
The key should be removed.
Correct. Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah? Always do. I'm glad you do, because some engineers don't get this. All you have to remember is, I never move the key. The cable, the loop. I never move it. So this one is the blue key, and you can see there are 4 pins here, and this one is on 3 and 4. Yeah? So now it's changed, you see, now it's on 2 and 3, but it's a white key. Yeah? And then the next board, upper platen, now it's a brown key, and it's on 1 and 2. Yeah? So this is just an example. You'll see in the grill the way it is. You see a red key on 1 and 3. Okay. So that's a good way of putting it. It's an address. It's an address for the
So
actuator.
you can replace the board. You just take the keyboard on the board one and put it.
Press in position.
Correct. That's it. That's it. Again,
What happens if I forget to put it?
it doesn't know it's working that actuator, so it won't work. And if you mix up, so let's say I move the front left to the back right and the back right to the front left, but I don't change the key. Now this board thinks it's working this arm, and this board thinks it's working this arm.
But it can still work.
Well, you'll probably get stalls because because it's working a different arm, it's working at a different speed and a different setting because you've set your gaps. So it doesn't know what it is and it gets confused. So it'll probably stall, it'll say stall. Or initialization problem, it would say. Now on the last board, you'll see there's an extra piece, this one here. This is a 120 ohm resistor, okay? This is closing the loop. Remember I said there's a loop?
Yeah.
This is closing the loop, okay? Now, when you look at this, you will not see the resistor because it has heat shrink over the top, black heat shrink. But that's 120 ohm. You know what I mean by heat shrink? Insulation? So it has insulation over the top, you won't see it. But if you have a problem with the loop, it could be this. Test it, 120 ohms, see if it is. If it isn't, you have to replace the resistor. Okay, and this is what's opening the loop. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to change presentation here because this has got a lot of old information in it. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so I've just switched to a different presentation. Because we don't have the grill, there may be some more information in here that I want to cover. I still have lots of things I need to talk to you about because we have software on this grill which we need to talk about, and we have recipes on this grill we have to talk about. So we still have lots of things to talk about. So I'm just going to see if there's anything in here. So if you do get a configuration of a 2+1, you will also get these spacers and these plastic bumpers here. Okay, these are just to locate on the sides to make sure the grills don't hit each other. Okay. Those are those yellow ribbons. So these are the yellow ribbons, and those are the bolts for the shipping bolts for the lower platen. So when we take the side panel off, we're going to see these here. Follow them up, undo them, throw them away. You may find that you only find one of these. If you only find one in the platen, it's probably fell out. It's probably on the base. So have a look, take it out, and throw it away. If you do get a single platen grill, okay, you're going to see these here. These are stabilizers. Who has children here? Who has children? Children? You have children? You know when you're teaching your child to ride the bike and they have the stabilizers on the side?
Yeah.
Same thing. The reason for this was In the UK, we had 2 of the single grills
Fell down.
pushed over. Okay? And I'm choosing my words carefully. It didn't fall over, it was pushed over. Because we had the CCTV and we saw what happened. What happened was the platen was up. So now we have it's top heavy.
Yeah,
Okay? They were cleaning the grill, they pulled the grill out to clean it. This happened twice. They pulled the grill out to clean it. Now, I don't know about here in McDonald's, but in the UK, they have, where the grill is, they have this plating, like a metal plating on the bottom. And this metal plating, sometimes, it comes up like this. So when they pushed the grill back, it hit the plating. So what they did was, they lifted the grill on one side. And when they lifted it on one side, it fell over onto the side. Okay? And the same thing happened with the cable. They were pushing the grill back, the wheel hit the cable. Instead of moving the cable, they lifted the grill over the cable, and it went. So, we passed all regulation for this grill. Otherwise, we couldn't sell it. We do what's called a tip test. Okay, so they put the grill onto a plate, and what they do is they tilt it and tilt it and tilt it until the point it falls over. And it has to meet that regulation. It met it. But because we had this problem, we had to come up with a solution. This was the solution. Okay? So if you do get single platen grills, you have to make sure you have this stabilizer on the side here. Okay? Very easy to fit. The holes inside the casters. All we do, we push it in, and there's a little split pin. We put the split pin in here, split pin in here. It's done. 5 minutes. Okay? So now, if the platen goes to go over, it's going to stop it hitting those stabilizers. Yeah? So this main switch, it's the same on all of the grills. This is the main interlock switch. This is your main power switch for the grill. Okay? Now, you can find problems with this switch, and the problems you usually find is that you get it wet. So they too much water on a cloth, or they may spray it or something, the water gets in there and it blows the switch. I've actually found one of these switches. I found in a McDonald's, I found this piece here, this orange piece, over the other side of the kitchen, because it went boom, and it blew it over to the other side of the kitchen. Is that is that a police badge on the back there on your phone? Is that what that is? Yeah. Did you be a police officer?
No.
No? So this is your interface, okay? So this is your main screen. It's all touch screen, just like your phone. So here we have home button. Same as the phone. We press home button, it goes back to the beginning. Okay? Here we have an information button. This is my favorite button on the grill, and I'll tell you why later. This one here you see as a triangle with an exclamation mark. Yes. So if there's a problem with the grill, this is going to light up in like an orange-red color. So now you don't have to listen to the manager. You go to the grill, you press the button, it's going to tell you what the problem is. Yes, there's full history in this grill. Everything you can imagine is in this grill. Okay? You can download it, you can send it to me if you have a problem, you can do everything with this grill. What did you say, sorry?
Can you delete it?
Delete the history? Yes, you can delete anything. You can delete all history, you can delete one history, 2 of them, you can delete, and it's very, very, very friendly.
Can the manager delete the history?
No, it's in service. But, unless they know the service code, which they probably do. So yeah, so you press this and it will tell you the problem. I like this because when I was a technician, I would go to a McDonald's store and I would say, what's the problem? And they say, I have a problem, for example, with the top platen. I can spend 1 hour looking for the problem. And then somebody else comes and says, what are you doing? It's not the top platen, it's the bottom platen, that's the problem. I've just wasted 1 hour. This now will tell you what the problem is. Okay? Now this one here, this one is the off button. But it's actually 2 stages. We press the button once, and then we will see a screen. It will have a box inside, and it will say off. But at the top, it will say on and ready. it's still on. So we have to press this button, and then we have to press the off button to turn it off. Okay, so two stages. This button just takes you back to the last page. This is your programming button, so your settings. And this one isn't used at the moment here. It's there's nothing there. This one here is these ones here across the top here, these four, these are quick entry keys. So instead of having to put the code in and go to QuickTime or thermocouples for calibration, we can just do it here. So if I press, at the moment you see I'm in 10 to 1 range. Okay? If I press and hold this button, it's going to take me to the cook time. So now I can increase or decrease the cook time, depending on what is needed. Okay? This one here is temperature calibration. I press and hold it, it opens up the temperature calibration page, and now I can do my temperature calibration. Okay? This one here is switch menu. AM, breakfast, PM, main menu, or all day. I think only America has all day, because they have all day breakfast in America. So you can eat breakfast all day, as much as you want. And here we have a manual button, or automatic. So if I press this button, M means manual. When in manual, it means it will only cook that product. Whatever is there, that will only cook that product. If I press this button, and I change it to A, automatic, whatever I put onto that grill, it will cook. So if I put 10 to 1 meat, it will cook the 10 to 1 meat, come up, I can take the meat off. I can then put 4 to 1 meat, the platter will come down, it knows it's 4 to 1 meat because of the thickness, and it will start to cook the 4 to 1 meat. So it will change itself, you don't have to manually change. If I'm in manual like this, if I want to cook 4 to 1, I have to come and I have to press 4 to 1. And now I can cook 4 to 1. Yep. Oh, there we go, there's the picture actually. So I press this button and then I see this screen here for the off. You can see it says on and ready. I have to press this button again and then I can switch it off. Okay, this is my favorite button. Now, we've already spoken that McDonald's has a problem with cleaning. Yeah? Not just McDonald's, all of these places have problems with cleaning. Now, before this grill, if I said to the manager, you have a problem with cleaning, they can say to me, no I don't, it's fine. Okay, look, it's clean. I have no evidence to prove that they're not cleaning that grill properly. But what I mean by correctly is, we have to put the grill into clean mode. So in McDonald's, the temperatures are 218 degrees Celsius and 177 degrees Celsius. Okay, that's the temperature they cook at. The cleaning temperature is 163 degrees. So when I put the grill into clean mode, the temperature is going to slowly come down, and it's going to say ready to clean. Now I can clean the grill. Now the problem is, they don't want to do that. They want to put the cleaning solution on the grill, they want to clean it, and they want to use it again. So they don't put it into clean mode. If they don't put it into clean mode, they're damaging the grill. That chemical that you put on the surface, do you use K5 or something like that? Diversity stuff. It's called high temperature cleaning solution. If I put the high temperature cleaning solution at 177 degrees and 218 degrees, it's going to break the platinums. It's going to start eating the metal. Okay? And you're going to see, maybe you're going to see like a spider web. You'll see cracks appearing in the platinum, like a spider web. This is because they're cleaning it too hot, or they're not using the correct solution. They may use ice, they may use water, they should never use cold water. I have a problem at the moment where I have a grill that is damaged and they've used floor cleaner on the grill. And it's taken away all of the surface of the grill. So it's not shiny anymore, it's now dull. It's taken away all the surface. They want me to pay for this. And I've investigated and found out that they use floor cleaner. I'm not paying for it, it's their problem, it's their mistake. Okay? So, again, I don't have any proof, but now I do. Now I have proof. Because when I press this information button here, this box here in the top right is going to tell you how long they cleaned the grill for and when they last cleaned it. So when they put that into clean mode, it's recording. So here at the bottom you see, I don't know if you can see this, but it says 0D, 0 days, and it says, what does that say? 0, 25 and 3 minutes. Okay, so that's saying 20 minutes ago, actually 25 minutes ago, that was clean. If you see anything more than 1 day, that means they've not cleaned the grill properly. Because every 24 hours they must clean the grill. They've got to clean it every 24 hours. Now, I had an issue only a few months ago. I had to go look at a grill close to where I live in England because there was a problem. And I walked into the store and the grill was clean. It was shiny. Okay? When I pressed this information button, here it said 435 days. 435 days ago, they cleaned the grill properly. Now, I knew the manager. So I got the manager, brought her over, and I said, this grill hasn't been clean. And she said to me, yes, it has. Look, it's clean. It's shiny, it's clean. I said, yes, but it's not being cleaned correctly. Look. And I pressed the button, and I showed her 435 days. So in that example, they have used and cleaned the grill at too high of a temperature, and they haven't put it into clean mode. Okay? The second thing, the minutes here, is going to tell you how long it took them to clean it. Now, each platen should be taking around 30 to 45 minutes to clean. Okay? This one says 3 minutes. What that means is they've tricked the system. Because when they put it into clean mode, 163 degrees, it starts to record time. Time starts, the clock starts. They have pictures. Do this, press the next screen, do this, next screen, do this. Do how to clean the grill. What we cannot stop them from doing is going to the end, tick, done. But it records it. It's going to say how long it took them to get from the first screen to the last screen. So now you have evidence of they are not cleaning properly, they're not putting it into clean mode, and they're taking too little time to clean the grill. You understand? Okay. Now, these screens here, this information here, by the way, this is only information. I could not press any button here, it's just information. This here is your set temperature across the top. This is in Fahrenheit. And this is your actual temperature. So these are your heat zones. You see here, there's a dot. That is the front of the upper platen. So this is the upper platen, and this is the lower platen. So front, back of the lower, middle of the lower, front of the lower. This must be a long grill because it has three heat zones on the bottom. Yep. And here it's telling you this is what the temperature should be, and this is what the temperature is. Okay? This one is giving you the temperature inside of the machine, how hot it is inside of the machine. This one is telling you the cut time for this product, so 38, I think that says, for 10 to 1 seconds. This is telling you it's in clam mode. Clam mode means I'm using upper and lower, I'm not just using lower. Because you can just use the lower surface and just flip burgers or whatever you're cooking. But this is clam. It's in manual mode, it's in all day, the grill is calibrated, and again, it's cooking 10 to 1. Okay, so this is all of that information. Okay, that's the information screen. Now I'm moving on to this one. Oops. Now I'm moving on to this one here. So I'm going to press this button and I'm going to see these 4 options here. The first option is for cleaning, we'll get to that. The second one is settings, the third one is cook time, and the fourth one is recipe filter. Recipe filter is, it's for recipes, for products, for cooking. Okay, so first of all, every 4 hours the grill should be wiped down. Okay, so every 4 hours they should be wiping the grill down. And they can do that through this button, but usually they don't. They usually just wipe the grill down. Now this is full clean. So when I press this button, as I say, it's going to come down to 163 degrees, and it's going to give me a timer. It's going to time out to say how long it will take to cool the grill down to temperature. You have special tools like this to clean the grill. So you can see now, remember the plate, there's a plate here. We take the plate off, and now we can clean all behind. Now, those, let me see if I have a better picture to explain what I'm saying. Okay. Now, another indication that they are not cleaning properly is this. You see here, this space here, this little space, and at the back there's a small space. And here, with food pattern, it's even worse, this little space here. McDonald's may say to you, it's very difficult to clean because this space is so little, I can't get in to clean. If they say this to you, it means they are not putting it into clean mode. If they put the grill into clean mode, on the 5th page, this will rise up and it will give you about this much space to clean. So there's no excuse. Okay, so it's another indication they aren't using clean mode. So when we press the setting button, so what I've done here now, I'm going to press this settings button here, and it's going to open up this screen. Okay, so now I'm going to enter the passcode. So I would put 5231 if it was for me. I'm going to use 5231, and I'm going to press the check mark here. Now this is everything they have in the manager menu here: date, time, general scale. Actually, this firmware manager is now taken away because they can't get into this anymore. You have display, auto calibration, volume, language, recipe management, gap check, not gap change. They cannot change the gaps, but they can check the gaps. There is some training in there. Wi-Fi. So we now have the ability to monitor the equipment. Okay. So what we can do is we have a system where we can look at the equipment and we can see, excuse me, we can see if it's on, we can see if it's cooking. If it's a freezer, we can see if it needs to be cleaned. We can see if it's locked out. We can see everything, all the information. On the service menu, we have gap calibration, we have floor level calibration. You're never going to use this. This is if you have a floor which is like tilted, you can actually tell the grill it's on a tilted floor and the platens will straighten up rather than moving like this. I don't think you're ever going to use it. We have temperature calibration, so how we calibrate the temperatures. We have all of the history in the grill. We have distributor information, which would be your information. We have the store information, control information, the platform temperatures, USB for downloads, show mode. Now show mode is, if I had the grill here with me today, I would put it into show mode. This allows me to use the grill without heating. So if you go to a grill and you need to see a cook cycle, to be able to see a cook cycle, it needs to be hot. But if I put it into show mode, I can see a cook cycle and it won't be hot. Okay, so you can use this for service as well. Controls, reset to defaults, auto calibration, grill type. Now, this grill type actually is important.
In show mode, only the heater is not working.
Only the heaters.
So
Everything else,
try,
everything else works. As it's hot. It thinks it's hot, it's not.
only the demo also not working.
Yeah, it's called show mode because when we have a show, a trade show, when we have the grill, this is the mode we put it into. So we
demo mode,
yeah, same thing. Yeah, same thing. This grill type here is important. Okay. If I'm replacing the UI, the user interface, the touchscreen, okay, I have to tell it what grill it's on. This is the reason. Remember, we have a short and we have a long. Okay. When you get the control from America, it comes set as a long. If I put the control onto the grill, it's going to give me a thermocouple error. It's giving me a thermocouple error because it's looking for this extra thermocouple which I don't have. So I have to go to grill type and I have to tell it, you're on this grill type model, whatever the model is. Yeah, so you can choose, really, you can choose anything which is C. You have C854, C852, C856. If you choose anything that says electric, 1 electric, 2 electric, 3 electric, this is full size. So don't choose the electric, choose the model numbers. If you just choose C854, you're good. You're good. Rescue menu items, the life cycle of the grill, and then copy configurations, which I'm going to explain as we get further on. Okay, so this is gap calibration. So we've gone to 5231, and we selected the first button on the top left, which is gap calibration. This is where we're going to use our gap tool. Okay? Now, is this too further up? Yes, too far. So, both of these gap tools are 0.255. Does it say that? Yeah, okay, here. 0.255. This is the tool you have to have for this grill. No other tool works. Not 250, not 260, 255. You have to have 255. Okay? So, we're selecting gap calibration. The platen, you see here it says go to test gap. You press this button and the platen comes down, sits into place. Okay? Now, it's very similar with the oval grill. Yeah, it's the same procedure, it's slightly different because now we have the lower surface which is moving. So, let me try to, I'm trying to think how I can explain this the best I can. Can I just use your, use this? Okay. Okay, this is my platen, this is my upper platen, okay? So, my upper platen is going to come down, it's going to sit into place like this, onto the lower surface. Yeah? Okay? Now, I have a red, by the way, the reason we have a long and a short, if we only have the short version, and we're gapping the middle platen on a 3-platen grill, we have to do this side from here, and then we have to go around the other side and do this. If we have the long version, we can reach all the way through. Okay, that's why we have 2 different versions. So, this is called a go, like traffic light. Green, go. Red, stop. Okay? Go, no go. What this means is, this one, the green side, has to turn. Upper platen, lower platen. Okay? Has to turn freely. No resistance. The red side goes between, it has to stop. Dead. Stop dead. No turning, stop. Okay? No go, go. Okay? Now, I'm going to explain why this is so important with this grill. This grill is very clever. It's a very intelligent grill. Okay? If you do not gap this grill correctly, it won't cook. It has to be gapped correctly. Okay? Now, why I'm saying this is because some engineers will gap what's called gapping tight. Okay? What gapping tight means is, if this green side, I'm on the green end, if this green side is just scraping, so I can feel just a little bit of resistance. I can turn, but I can feel that it's scraping the upper platen. Okay? This is what's called gapping tight. Because what the engineers do is, they know if this is gapping tight and it's just scraping, this is going to stop. Okay? So that's why they gap tight. With this grill, you cannot do that. You have to make sure it's spinning freely, and this one is stopping. And I'm going to explain why now. How many people have used this tool before? Have you ever, anybody used this tool before? You? Yeah? Yeah, okay. You may know the answer to this. It's a .255 gap gauge, yeah? You agree? Which end is .255? Is it the red end or is it the green end, which is 255?
The red.
The red? Anybody else? Any guess? No? It's neither. It's the middle. The green side is 5 thou under the setting. It's a 255 gap gauge. The green side is 250. The red side is 5 thou over the setting. The red side is 260. Therefore, when this spins and this stops, I'm in the middle. I'm at 255. Now, this is why I've explained this, because if I do this tight, so it's just scraping, am I at 255? I'm at 252, 253 maybe, something like this. Okay? So this is why it's very important. Okay, does everybody understand what I just said? Understand? Right. Now I'm going to show you gapping. So, we press the go to test gap. We press this button, the platen is going to come down. Okay? Now I'm at the side of the platen. So what I'm going to do now, these, by the way, these markings here, these markings, they mean nothing. They don't mean anything. What I need to do is I need to put my green side in between the platen like this, and I'm going, say this was the platen, I'm going to about here, I'm going to about here, here, and here. The most important thing is you go back to the same place. Because if I put my gap tool here, and then I go to here, it's different. This is not precision. It's not completely flat. Okay, so I have to go back into the same place. So what I do, personally, you know the rails that's on the top? Yeah. I'm looking at the front of the rail here, the back of the rail here, back of the rail, front of the rail. Okay? That's what I do. So, the platen is going to be sat like this. Okay? I'm going to put my gap tool underneath, and I'm going to just put my fingers on like this, and I'm just going to turn like this. And I can, at the moment, I can see my green end is turning. So I'm good. So then I put my red end in, and I see, is my red end stopping? Oh no, look, it's turning. So it means it's too high, the gap is too high. So what I have to do, if I'm on the front, this was the front left, I go to my front left here, and I have an up and a down arrow. Now remember, I'm not moving the upper platen, I'm moving the lower platen. So if the gap is too wide, what do I need to do? I need to bring the lower platen up. Okay? So this is all in real time. It's not like the old drills that you guys have worked on. It's in real time. What I mean by this is, I can put my gap tool underneath, and I can be pressing the button, and I can be feeling at the same time. Every time I press the button, it's moving 1/1000th of an inch. Okay, so very little. So I keep pressing the button, until eventually I feel it stopped. Okay? You see, the red stopped. So now the red has stopped, now I have to check my green side again. Is this turning? Put it in, green side, turning, I'm good. So this one now is good. Then I move to my next one, I do the same thing, and I go to the four corners. Okay? But if I put this one correct here, and I move to this one and this one and this one, and I make an adjustment here, I have to check this one again. Because if I've moved this platen, and this one is correct, but now I bring this one and I change it, now the platen's going to do this or this. Because I'm changing the other settings, so I have to go around and check them all again. Okay? So once all of my four corners are turning with the green side, and then they are stopping on the red side, then I press auto calibration. And the platen is going to come down, and you're going to see the lower platen do the little dance like this. It will stop, and I check it again. You may find they've changed. If they've changed, you have to set it again. Okay? If they've not moved, it's all good. That's it, done, finished. That's all you have to do. Okay? Do you want me to explain that again? Did everybody, I know it's very difficult because we don't have a grill, but did you understand the process of that then? Me explaining it, you did? Yeah, you guys at the back, yeah? Okay. So, as I say, press auto calibration. The bottom pattern will do this. We go to test gap, we check it again. If it's good, we just move to the next pattern, and the next pattern, and that's it. We do all the patterns.
That's a good thing. You would like it, man.
Sorry?
That's a good thing. You should only pushing the ball market.
Yeah,
Not like the other one.
yeah, yeah.
What will happen if I try to use this one? Because there is a logo. If I go directly to the logo and I try it, probably won't.
Say it again.
This is there is a logo, right?
Yeah.
So if I go directly to the logo and I try it, oh, it's not going. Probably it's not.
Because how do you know if it's high? Because the gap can be tight.
Yeah, because it's not moving. It's not.
Yeah, but-
really tight.
But if you don't check the green side,
It could be not moving also.
so the reason is this. Do you want to say something? No? Okay. The reason is this. So what the question was, if I make sure the red is stopping, do I have to check the green? Well, yes, because it might be too tight. Now, the problem is, let's say the grill is undercooking meat. Okay? You don't just make the gap tighter. If you make the gap tighter, it's going to make it worse, not better. Because what's going to happen is, if you make it tighter, it's going to create a sear on the outside of the meat, a skin on the meat. Now the heat cannot penetrate inside. And this is very dangerous, because the meat, when it comes off the grill, looks completely fine. But if I break the meat open, it's red and raw inside. It's raw meat. And if somebody gets served raw meat, they can get sick. So it's very important that you do this correctly.
In the store, the manager, they have the proof to make.
No. So, again, good question. So, do you remember there was a gap check, and I said this was for manager, not for changing settings, just to check settings. They have, McDonald's have because this is McDonald's grill, they have what's called a U-tool. It's in the shape of a U, okay? And it has balls on the end. It doesn't have, see how this has a flat piece? They are just circle balls, okay? It's called a gap check tool. It's not a Taylor tool, it's a Frankie tool. You know Frankie? Yeah. It's a Frankie tool, okay? What this tool is for the store to check your work, okay? So what happens is, if you go into Gapper Grill, okay, they get their tool, when you leave, they can get their tool and they can check to see if you did your job correctly. That's what that tool is for. But I don't like that tool. If I had that tool, I would break it in half and throw it away. Because they don't know how to use it correctly. They don't know. I'm just thinking, I had something else I was going to say to you guys. It'll come back to me. There was something I was going to say. So this is showing you where you can gap into in the grill, so where you put your end of your gap tool into. Again, you don't have to be in this exact place, because when I gap a grill, I'm about here. When I gap, okay? But the most important thing, as I say, you go back to the same place. Because if I put my gap tool underneath the pattern, and I go here, and I see it's correct, but the next time I do it, I'm checking here, it's different. As I say, it's not a completely precision piece of metal. It's different in different places. So you need to make sure you go back into the same place. This is why it's good to have a reference on the top of the pattern, like I said, where the rail is. Have that reference. What I always do also, to make sure I'm into the right depth, I don't just put my tool in like this. What I do is I go from the front and I pull in. So I go in like this, I know how deep I am, and then I pull it back.
How about with this mark?
These don't mean anything.
I mean, let's say.
Those?
How big this we put inside?
Yeah, no, this is for the M series grill. Very, very old grill. It's the same tool, but these don't mean anything for this grill. Okay, so gap calibration. So all of these things I'm talking to you about, gap calibration, temperature calibration, these are all part of the McDonald's beef integrity. Okay? So McDonald's have a process which every single day they check the temperature of the meat for health and safety, food safety. Okay, to make sure it's cooked properly. Okay? So what you have to do is you have to make sure that the temperature zones are correct. Has everybody here done temperature calibration? No?
No, no.
Okay. Let me just see. Oh, sorry, do you want to? No. Okay, let me just see if I have a better picture for you to be able to. Okay, so let's say this is my bottom platen here. Okay? When you first get the grill, you're going to see marks on the platen, like little circle. The circle is where the thermocouple is. Okay? So what we have to do is we have to check the temperature, and we have to check the temperature is correct. If it's not correct, we have to change it. So we have what's called a surface probe.
Yeah.
It's in McDonald's. It has a handle like this, and it has a white bottom like this. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you do, you put your temperature probe onto the surface, and we have the pyrometer. First of all, though, we have to make sure the pyrometer reads correctly. It's calibrated. So first there should be a calibration sticker on the back to say it's calibrated. But then what we should do is we should get the needle probe, which is the probe which checks the meat. It looks like a needle, and we get a cup of water like this with ice inside, and we leave it for a couple of minutes, and then we check the temperature of the water with the pyrometer. It should be 0. Okay, if it's 0, it's all good. So then we put the surface probe on, we put the probe onto the grill here, and then we're going to see these temperatures. So we have top rear, top front, bottom rear. We don't have a middle, you wouldn't have the middle, and you'd have bottom front. Okay? So all we have to do is we look at the temperature on the pyrometer, and we just, if this is, so let's say this one here says it's 366, we have a 3-degree acceptance, which means if it's within 3 degrees positive or 3 degrees negative, it's okay. So if it's over 3 degrees, what we have to do is we just click the box, and the box is going to go from a grey colour to a black like this. And all we do is we look at the temperature on the pyrometer, and we just punch in the same temperature. So let's say the temperature is 370, we just go 370, done. Move to the next one. Next one, done. Very, very simple.
How about if it's -3, is still okay?
Yeah, so if it's -3 or +3, it's fine. You don't have to touch it. Now, what I'm going to show you, depending on time, I'm going to show you probably quite quickly a certification. Okay, because a certification it's called a PM, Preventive Maintenance. Every year, McDonald's have a PM, and you guys would go in there and you would change parts on the grill, and you would make sure it's working correctly. So if we have time, I'm going to show you that as well, because it gives you a little bit more information. Okay.
We perform that annually.
You do it annually. Yeah. So this is a McDonald's statement. Okay. So if you go to certify a grill, try to remember this. Okay. The main aim of certification is to achieve beef integrity within specification. I'll say it again. The main aim of certification is to achieve beef integrity within specification. What does that mean? It means I have to achieve my food safety temperatures. within specification. Okay? What does specification mean? Well, on the grill we have 3 specifications. Okay? 3 guidelines, 3 specifications. We have our temperatures of our surface, upper, lower temperatures. These can never change. We never change the 218 temperature and we never change the 177 temperature. If it's overcooking or undercooking, this is not what we change. We never touch the temperatures. Okay? We never change the gap. The gap is a specification. Okay? And we never change the gap settings. What I mean by gap settings are the recipe for the product. So for instance, the 10:1 product, what will happen is the platen is going to come down, and the 10:1 product first, it's going to have a first stage. The first stage is going to be a small gap, because what we want to do is we want to create a sear on the meat. Like if you're at home and you're cooking a beef burger, you would flip it and you press on it, like this. It's creating the sear, the skin on the meat. So the first stage it would go, and you hear it, it goes pshh. And if you watch the platen, within 5 seconds it's going to go, and it's going to go up or down depending on the grill. Okay, it's going to open the gap. It's going to continue to cook. So that is a 2-stage cook. Okay, whatever those settings are, we never change them. Okay, the other parameter we have, the other specification, is the cook time. How long it takes to cook the product. This is the only setting we can change. So if we have a product which is overcooking or undercooking, and all of these settings are correct, the only thing we can change is the cook time. So if it's undercooking, we put the cook time up. Now here in Kuwait, I don't know, but in the UK we have a minimum cook time, which means we cannot go below that cook time. In other countries, they don't have it. Maybe here they don't, I don't know. This is a McDonald's question, you'd have to ask McDonald's. Okay, but this is the only parameter we change, the cook time. We don't change gaps, we don't change these temperatures, only cook time. Okay? Very important, because it's important because of this. Let's say you change these temperatures. I'll give you an example. It's undercooking. I come to the store and I change the upper platen from 218 to 230. Now it's cooking okay. Okay? Now something happens and somebody gets served a piece of meat which is not cooked properly and they get sick. You're the guys that gets into trouble. Okay? Because you went outside of specification. You changed that temperature. You shouldn't have done this. You're the person who gets into trouble. Now actually in the UK, if somebody, like people our age would be okay. Maybe we get sick a little bit, but we'd be okay. A young child or an old person, they could die from food poisoning. In the UK, if this happens, I get sent to prison. If I did this change and they die, I get sent to prison. This is how important this is. You do not change any other setting than the time, the cook time. Okay? Okay, so again, I said to you before, we have history in the grill. And these are all the histories we have. We have auto level history, we have cleaning history, fault, events, cycle counts, system controls, and temperature calibration history. Okay? Now, if I press, there should be a little arrow here. If I press this, this is going to drop down, and it's going to give me all these options here. Okay? And as you see there, it says I can also export to USB. So if you have a problem with a grill and you can't fix it, you would go to fault history, you would export to USB, you then put it as an email and send it to me, and I can see what's happening with the grill and I can help you. Okay? So, this is going to be very difficult for me to explain. Okay, so, just give me 1 second. So, all of the recipe items, products, 10 to 1, 4 to 1, everything is done by USB. By the way, I just want to mention, this grill, all the grills before this grill were only McDonald's. We didn't have them in Burger King and Wendy's or anything like this, okay? It was only McDonald's. Because the idea came from McDonald's, came from Taylor, meaning it came from me, we own this. We own the idea. What that meant is we gave it to McDonald's for 2 years, exclusive for 2 years. Now that 2 years have gone. So you're going to see this grill in many different restaurants. Steak, I can't tell you the names yet because it's not released, but the steak restaurants, Wendy's now use our grill. Okay, so Wendy's is going to be many, many different places are going to start to use our grill. Okay, you're going to see this grill a lot more. It will have a different controller. The controller won't be the same, but everything else is the same. Okay? The reason I'm telling you that is because these are McDonald's menus here. Okay? Now, these menu items are what's on the USB. So
this USB together with the machine?
no. So the question was, do you get the USB with the machine? No, you don't. Okay? So what will have to happen is, you guys are okay, because Al-Sakabi are going to install the first grill. Okay? Once the first grill is installed, the first grill is going to have to be programmed manually. So what they would do, they would have to go into the grill and they would have to program like you guys would have done with the old grill. Once the first screen is done, then all we have to do is put the USB in and we upload to the USB. And now we have all of this information is now on my USB. Okay? Now all I have to do is I go to my next one, I plug it in, copy, plug it in, copy, and it's done. And then I just keep this and I do this on every grill in the future. An installation on this grill will take you, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours max, because it's so easy because of this. Okay? Now you can see here all of these columns here, they do mean something. Not to you guys, but they do mean something. But you can see we have 10 to 1, 4 to 1, sausage, folded eggs, round eggs, thicker beef recovery. This is the UK settings. Okay? So, now what you can do is, if you need to make a change, you can make the change here, or you can make the change on the grill. If you make the change here, you have to put it back onto here, and then you can load it into the grill. Okay? Now, just one thing to remember. You can only have one recipe file on this. Okay? I'll give you an example. I have a recipe file on here, but I don't know. I forgot. And I go to a grill, and I put this into the grill, and I upload the recipe file into here. Now I have 2 recipe files on here. When I go to download the next time onto the grill, what's going to happen? I'm going to have 2 10 to 1s, 2 4 to 1s, 2 sausage, 2 fun. I'm going to have 2 of everything. Okay? So you have to format the stick and then upload to the stick. Okay? Now on this stick you can have a recipe file and you can also have your configuration file, which I'll tell you about. Configuration for you guys that's worked on the grill before is system settings. Same. Celsius, Fahrenheit, all of those things. You can put that in here as well. So when you do installation, you can see it. Just plug it in, copy configuration, copy recipes, do your gap checks, do your beef integrity checks, done. It's really easy.
How many GB that?
So, good question. Who asked that question? You? Yeah, good question. For software, it has to be 8 GB or less. It's difficult at the moment because these are very difficult to get. I don't know about here in Kuwait, but in the UK it's very difficult to get an 8 or less because of the supplier issues. COVID caused this problem. Okay. For recipe file for this, it doesn't matter. It can be anything. 16, 32, 4, 8, it doesn't matter for recipe. But for software, it has to be 8 GB or less.
Yes, sir.
During installation and commissioning, we have to input first the standard setting for the calibration before we perform the go no go.
The standard calibration, what would you mean
For
by
the gap
standard?
setting,
The gap
we
setting?
have a standard for the system.
You mean like these? So this is right. This is saying that where are we? Let me work this out. Yeah. So this is saying it's a 40 cook time. For 5 seconds, it's going to cook at 160, and then the rest of the cook time, it's going to cook at 240, and then it's going to cook at 245. That's what that's saying. That's all on that stick. You don't have to touch it. All you have, everything is here. So on installation and commission, if you have this stick, yeah, this stick has recipes and your configuration file, which I'll speak about later. You don't have to touch the control. All you do is plug this in, press copy from to the grill. All the recipes are going to go in. All the configuration file is going to go in. All you have to do is gaps, temperatures, and then check the beef, or get the manager to check the beef. That's all you have to do. Did I answer your question? Okay, so if I press this USB button here, if I press that USB button, I'm going to see this page. Copy to, copy from. Download to the USB, upload to the grill. Now again, if you press the wrong button, you're going to make 2 files on your USB. You then have to format it first and then put 1 file back on. So if I want to put these onto the grill, but I press copy to instead of copy from, I've now took all what's on the grill and I put it on here as well. So now I have my file plus whatever was on the grill. Okay? So make sure you press the right button. This one is to upload to here, this one is to download from here. Okay? Right, when you go to your recipes, recipe management screen, you're going to see this here. You're going to see this here. Now, this button here, this create recipe, this is where you would have to do the first grill. You would have to program by manual. Okay, but you're okay because Alison Harvey will do this. Okay? Now, but the problem is, in Q8 here, do you have like limited edition products at McDonald's? Like a burger that they only sell for a couple of months? Do you have those? No? Not at all? No? Okay, that's good. Because I don't have to explain this. Because if they have limited edition products, like in the UK, most countries I go to, McDonald's have limited edition products. At the moment in the UK, it's a double quarter pounder, a barbecue. So it's a ½ pound barbecue burger. That's the limited edition product. What you would have to do for that, you'd have to go into here and create a recipe and program it. Okay, but if you don't have limited edition, you won't have to do that, so that's good.
You mean you will add?
You will add this in,
Yeah.
you will add this in. But I will talk about these. So editing just means if you need to make changes to the recipe file that I just showed you, you go into here. You can change the picture. So when you're cooking burgers, it'll have a picture of burger. If you're cooking chicken, you can change it to a chicken. You can change the picture. Toggle recipe, this is to switch it on or off. Okay, so let's say we have a limited edition product, it finishes, we go to here and we switch it off. And it will say, yes AM, yes PM, yes AM and PM, no AM, not AM, not PM. Not AM, not PM means off. Okay? This one is to change order. You're never going to use this, but it's like your iPhone. If I want to change an app, and I want to put the app from here to here, I can move them. And this one is just for AM, PM toggle. Do I want it in AM or do I want it in PM? So this is showing you the, oh actually this is showing you software. Right. I apologise because I know I'm overloading you with information. Okay, it's a lot of information. And we'll don't worry. If you don't remember, we can help you in the future when you get to use this grill. But this is something that I have to explain to you because we have many different versions of software for this grill. Okay, actually in the UK we have 7 different versions of software. And the reason I've got to explain it to you is because they have compatibility issues. So, what I mean by compatibility issues is, you're only going to get the grill this year. Let's say you get the grill, today. Okay? If you get the grill today, the software versions you're going to get are this. The UI, the touchscreen is going to be 3.0 software. Okay? The lane board is going to be 1.61. The motor boards are going to be 1.40, all 4, 1.40. Okay? Now, next month, this is for example, next month, we change the software on one of those components. So let's use the example. We change the motor board from 140 to 150, for example. Okay? You order a new motor board because you have a problem with the grill. You find it's the motor board, you order the motor board. You put the motor board into the grill, and now you have 3 motor boards on 140 and 1 motor board on 150. It won't work. It won't talk to each other. You have to make sure they're all the same. Now, I can give you one of these, but it's very small. This is what I'm saying. It's not copied very well. It's very small. But I'll give you one. You can look at it. So. Don't even know how many you have for the scene. Yeah. Let me see if I have any more. Right, I know, so if you can just pass this around, and I know it's very small, and again, it's not a very good copy, but... So, oh, hang on, got some more.
Pahingi ka sa boss.
Now, that document I've just given you there, that is all of the software versions that I have in the UK. I have many different versions. Now,
We have different versions there, right?
so I'll tell you what you're going to get. So, when you get the grill today, you're going to get version 7. Okay? Which is 3.0, 1.40, and 1.61. The very last one on the right side. Yeah, that's what you're going to get. But to give you an example of what I'm talking about, let's look at version 5. Okay? Now version 5 has 100 on the GUI, it has 1.40 on the MCB, and it has 1.41 on the LCB. Yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
Right. So now, in this example, my GUI is broken. I need to replace the touchscreen. Okay? So I'm going to order a new touchscreen. My touchscreen is going to come with version 7, 3.0, because it always comes with the latest version. So it's going to come with 3.0. So then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to look back at version 5, and I'm going to say to myself, what do I need for version 3 to work? So if I put version 3 into here, I need 1.40 on my MCB. I have it. Yeah, you see? It's the same. 140, it's the same. You following what I'm saying? Yep. But if I look at my LCB, which is my lane board, it's different, isn't it? Yeah? So when I put my 30 into this, it's not going to work because the LCB is not correct. So I now have to update my LCB, my lane board, to 1.61. So now I have 1.61 on my LCB, I have 1.40 on my motor, and I have 3.0 on my UI. And now it will work. Want me to explain that again? Yeah? Okay. So,
meaning to say, all of these two units, if they are not the same version, they are not compatible with each other.
not the same version if they're not compatible in this box.
Yeah.
So let me try to give you a different example. Let me see if I can be more clear. Okay. So, let's see. Let's look at version 4. Yeah? So with version 4, I have 100 on my GUI. I have 137 on my motors. And I have 134 on my LCB. Yep, you see that? But I need to replace, let's change it. I'm going to replace my lane board, my LCB. Okay? Now, the LCB that's in the grill is 1.34. But the new LCB is going to be what? Correct. If I put this into this grill, in order for 161 to work, what do I need? I need 140 on my LCB, on my MCB, and I need either 3.0 or 1.56. Because you can see the box next to it, 161 works with 156. Right? So, what I have to do now is, I've put my LCB into version 4, I have 137 on my MCB. If I look at version 7, what do I need? I need 140. So I have to update to 140. What do I need on my UI? Well, I need either 3.0 to work with 161, as in version 7, or I need 156, as in version 6, to work with 161. So either one of those will work. So now I have to update the UI and the motorboards. Do you understand? So think of it this way. When I check the software, everything has to be the same in one of those boxes. If it's not the same as what's in that box, it's not going to work. It's not compatible. You follow?
Yeah.
Okay. Now there's a second part to this. Actually, I won't even tell you because you'll be okay. I was going to say there's 2 recipe files, but because you're only getting the 3.0 the version 7, you'll be okay. I don't particularly. Which is good. It's confusing. I know it's confusing, but all you have to remember is you need to go like this. This is probably the best way to explain it. What is my new component? Doesn't matter which component. LCB, MCB, UI. What version software is on this? Okay. I look. It's version whatever. Now I look at this and I see I have this version on this piece of equipment, this hardware. What else do I need for this to work? The best question. What else do I need for this to work? Okay, I have 3.0 here. I have a new UI. It's 3.0. And look here. Where is 3.0? Version 7. 3.0. So what do I need to work on my MCB and my LCB? I need 140 on my MCB, and I need 161 on my LCB. So I check the grill. I check the software. If it's not those versions, I have to update to those versions. Did that explain it a bit better? Yeah. So all you have to do is, whatever you have on this piece of new hardware, you have to match it for it to work. Match it to this box, one of these boxes. Okay? Now, again, for you, you don't have to worry about anything this way. All you have to worry about is version 7, because you are getting the new grid with version 7. The only reason I'm telling you this is because this is going to go 8, 9, 10, it's going to keep going. So this is going to be relevant for you guys, but it's going to be relevant past this, not before it. This is what I have. This is a nightmare in the UK because we have so many different versions. It's a nightmare. For you, it'll be pretty simple. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. It'll be simple. And if you have a problem and you're not sure, you can always ask Hassan, and he can ask me, and I can tell you straight away. I know on the top of my head what you need. So don't worry too much. Now, if you have to update the lane board, the big one, as soon as you press the button, it's done. If you have to update the motor boards, the small motor boards, as soon as you press the button, it's done. If you have to update the screen, it's about 30 minutes. Okay? So I'm telling you this, the reason I'm telling you this is because if you have to update, let's say you have to update all 3 screens, it's better to have 3 USBs. Because otherwise I'm going to wait 30 minutes, another 30 minutes, and another 30 minutes. If I have 3 USBs, put them all in, and it's only 30 minutes done, complete.
But unless the store is not busy.
It's still not busy. Fine. More time to work. Okay. Now, I just want to see, I'm just going to flip past it because I just want to see something. Right, so there's a mistake that can be made here, okay? So I just want to cover this. We don't have a picture of it, so unfortunately I'm just going to have to explain. You're going to need to check software, okay? This is for this, okay? But it's also for other reasons. You may have to check the software. You may contact me for a problem, and I say, what software do you have? And you're going to have to know how to find the software to tell me, okay? Now, what you do is you go to the 1955 manager screen, okay? 1955 manager. Then you press the general button. 1955 will open the manager section.
Please to find the version.
This is to find the software version, yeah. Okay, so 1955, so you press the settings button, you put in 1955, this opens up the manager menu. And you'll see general button. Press the general button, yeah? Okay, now you're going to see 2 buttons. One will say firmware manager. Is it firmware manager? I think it's recipe manager. And the other one will say about. You go into about. You do not go into the firmware manager. You go to the about screen. So you press the about button. About. A-B-O-U-T. About. Okay? Now what's going to happen is, it's going to open up pages of screens. Okay? The first screen will tell you nothing. Well, it will actually tell you your distributor information if you put it into the group. The second page will say touchscreen, and it will give you a version. The next page will be the lane board. It will give you a version. Then you will have the next page will be motor 1, motor 2 boards, give you a version. The next page will be motor board 3 and motor board 4, and it will give you a version. That is the correct screen to find the software. Okay, they put software versions. If you don't have pages of information, you're in the wrong screen. And what you'll see is this. This. Okay? This is not what's on the boards. This is what's available as software, not what's on the boards. Okay? So, please, if I say to you what's the versions, or you're checking the versions for the software, don't check here. Because if you check here, it might be incorrect. It might be correct, but it's a possibility it's going to be incorrect. You go to the About screen. And it will, you know you're in the wrong screen because you have all the information on one page. You should have to go through the pages to get the information. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes.
Good. Oh, by the way, all of this is in the manual. Okay, so if you get the manual, it's all in the manual. If you're updating the UI screen, the touch screen, you're going to see this, all of this information. And this is just all of the information uploading into the screen. It's going to carry on and carry on and carry on. Just leave it alone. Grab a coffee. It's saying, well, the new one, that's the new one. It says takes 50 minutes. It may be 50, it may take up to 30 minutes. And when it's finished, it'll say firmware upgrade successful, and now it's completed the UI. Okay, so this is something that I like to do on the grill because this is all information for us as technicians. Okay, the old grill has this also. So for you guys that's worked on the old C844 grills, this is also there. But engineers don't know. They don't know how to use this. Okay, this is a test function. So this is where you can test components in the grill without even pulling the grill out. You can do everything from the screen. So, first of all, you have to switch the diagnostic mode on. If you don't switch the diagnostic mode on here, all of these are going to be grey and you can't use them. So first of all, we switch it on here, we press the tick, and now all of these functions are open here. Now, I'm going to give you the ones that I use the most, and the ones that will give you most information. And again, this is the same on the old grill, same as the old grill. So, if I press the upper platen here, I can now pull the upper platen up and down via the screen instead of the buttons. So I'm testing, let's say the store say to you, I'm pressing the black button and the platen doesn't come down. Just doesn't work. So the possibility with the new grill is it a problem with the button? Is it a problem with the board, the motor board that it's connected to? Or is it the actuator? I don't know right now. I don't know. Is it one of these things? Again, same with the old grill. Is it piston? Is it a solenoid? Is it the buttons? So, I press this button. Let me see if it's... I press this button and the platen comes down. Now I know the actuator is working. So if I have a problem in this system, it's probably going to be my buttons. So now what I do is, I go to switch states here, I press this button, and it's going to say latch, raise, standby. Latch is the switch at the back. Remember the electronic switch, magnetic switch? That's the latch switch. Raise, red button, standby is your black button. Okay? So what I do now is, I go to the back of the grill and I can either bring the platen down to activate the switch, and on the screen it's going to say latch off. When it activates the switch, it's going to say on. Off, on, off, on. I go to my raise button. Off on the screen, press it, on. Off, on, off, on. Same with the black. Off, on, off, on. I've now just tested all my buttons and all of the system for the upper platen. Just like that. So much simple. I'm going and taking the screws out, taking the panels off. I can do it straight from here. Yeah, you're manipulating the grill to test it. The other one I love is the heater. Is it heater state or is it relays? No, I think it's heater state. This is so you can switch on the heaters separately. So if you have a problem with heating and you don't know, is it the thermocouple, is it the contactor, is it the solid state relay, is it a problem with power? All you do, you go here, you switch the relay on, and you wait. If the temperature starts to rise, everything's working. If the temperature doesn't start to rise, well, I've switched my relay on, so now I have to take panel off. So now I'm going to test, is my relay passing voltage? Yes. So it's not my relay. So now I have to then test to see what's causing that problem. But it's pointing you in the right direction of where to look. Instead of just looking everywhere, it's telling you where to look on the grill. That's what I use the most on here. You can also do the same thing with the lower plate. If you have a problem with the lower plate, you can bring the lower plate down and up from here. So you're testing the lower actuators on the lower plate. You may find other uses for this. I don't work on the grill that often, so this is just what I use. But this is all for you to test. Okay? Oh, one thing as well. So, if you want to test a latch switch at the back, you can just get a screwdriver or something metal, doesn't matter. It's an electronic switch, it's looking for metal. So if you think you have a problem with the switch or with the solenoid at the front, what you can do, you just get your screwdriver, touch the switch, and now you should hear the latch, and now those balls should be solid. You shouldn't be able to push them in. You've just tested the switch, you've tested the board, and you've tested the solenoid. It's all working. Now the reason I'm telling you this is because you just activated the switch, the platen is up because you've activated the switch with a screwdriver. But the grill, what does the grill think? The grill thinks the platen's down because the switch has been activated. So the grill thinks it's down, but the platen is up. When you go and press your raise button, now, what's going to happen is, it's going to try to lift the top platen up, but it's already up. So you're going to hear a noise, and the noise sounds terrible. It's like a grinding noise, horrible noise. It's not a problem. Okay, it's not breaking the grill, it's not a problem, it's a safety system. It's a safety system because what we have in this grill is, we have a safety system whereas if I have my hand in the way, or if I have my body in the way, my arm, whatever it is, if the platen comes down and sees it, it comes back up. It will not pin my arm to the grill, or my hand to the grill. It's a resistance. And this will happen in McDonald's. The reason it will happen is because McDonald's have what's called a UHC tray. It's a long tray that they put the meat into and they put it into the storage cabinet. Yeah? This tray flips up like this. If they flip the tray up and the platen comes down, the platen is going to hit the tray. What's going to happen is the platen is going to hit the tray and it's going to hit the tray, it's going to come back up and it's going to go back again to see if the tray has gone away. And if it hasn't, it's going to go bum 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 like this. And the store maker called the grill broken. No, it's not broken. It's just doing what it should do. It's a safety system built in. So, again, if I have my hand in the way, like this is how I usually test it. Put my hand here, I press the black button. The button starts to come down, it hits my hand, and it comes back up again. Then, it wants to see, has my hand gone away? So it's going to go a little bit further now. So it'll hit my hand, if I take my hand away, it comes up, and it goes back again a little bit further. Okay, now I know it's gone away, and it resets itself. That's it. But it will make a noise, and they think the grill's broken. There's nothing wrong with the grill. It's fine.
Now, how long is hammer?
2 seconds, 3 seconds. No, yeah, not very long. But the noise it makes is horrible. It sounds like you've broken something, but you've not. It's just how it's built. This is the back of the touchscreen. Your touchscreen is going to be different than this. We made a change to this touchscreen very recently, and your screen is going to be black on the back here. It's not white, it's going to be black. And there's going to be USB connections on the back of the display, okay? Those USB connections are not for you. They're for manufacturing when we build the grill, okay? So don't plug your USB into there. If you do want to change this, all you do is you just take the 6 nuts off here, disconnect the cables, lifts out, put the new one in, put 6 nuts back on, done. Very easy. This is the board. We've already been through this, so I'm not going to go through everything again. Been through that. We've done that. We've done that. Did that. That's a better picture of the, you see the nut that's been removed. So the nut gets removed, you just drop the nut down, and then you use that little the wheel on the side to bring this down, or you could just push it down by hand, doesn't matter. And now that's that released, and you can see there's the box of wood that people have used here.
It's 3 actuator each platen.
3 actuators, well, 4 including the upper platen, but 3 on the bottom, yes. 3 on the bottom, 1 on the top. We've already explained this, so I'm not going to explain again. Oh, there's the new switch. Okay? That's the new switch. So you remember the old one was on the side here? The reason we changed it, this is the reason we changed it. It used to be here. Actually, there it is here. That's how it used to be. I'm going to tell you, and I'll see if I'll ask you a quick question, see if you know the answer. So, forget this. Forget about this. Don't forget about that Allen key. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. So, with this version here, I set it, and I get my little bounce that I said before. Yeah? See my bounce is perfect. I've got it right. I now come to these 2 screws here, and I tighten the screws. But when I tighten the screws here, what's going to happen with this switch? It's going to move. Because the action of turning the screw onto the switch makes the switch move. Okay? So this was a terrible idea. So this is why now we've moved it to here. You no longer move the switch, you adjust the bolt. So there's a locking nut here on the bottom, loosens the locking nut, and now we're going to adjust the bolt out or in, depending on if we need to go far or not enough. Okay? Much better system. So you'll be glad that that's the new system, and that's all you're going to see. When you fit the springs, you're going to see these grooves here in this piece here. Make sure the spring, the hook is over the groove. So that's the front of the grille. There's your raise and standby button. That's your USB connection there. You remember though I showed you there's a USB connection on the board itself. Let me just go back. Yeah. So what I wanted to say was, if you plug your USB into here, and it doesn't work, it may just be the link to the board, the fly lead to the board. So what will happen is you plug the USB in, it say not recognised, or it won't say anything. Just take the USB out of the USB port, unplug the USB lead out of the board, and plug the USB directly into the board. Okay? If it works, it's the cable that's the problem. Okay? This is quite nice now also as well, because before, when we take these screws out, this would just hang down here. Now we have 2 hooks, so if we remove this, we can just hook it over the bull nose here and keep it in place. That's nice. This is a good picture actually. So this is the lower heater elements. So as you can see, you can change the lower elements. You can't change the top. The top is a whole pattern. But the lower ones, we can take the bolts out here and we can change them. Okay. Now, again, same with the old grill. You may find that when you put your temperature probe onto your surface, the temperature is not getting hot enough. It could be that these bolts here become loose. And now the element that was stuck to the bottom of the platen is now like this. And now we have a space between the element and the surface. It won't heat properly. All we have to do is just tighten the bolts back up to get the element to the surface, and now it will work perfectly fine. These are your thermocouples here. This is your high limit. I spoke about earlier. There's a gasket here. This gasket, which is sat, you see it sat here on the platen here. This is the upper platen. This is not replaced on PM. You replace this as needed, and it's very, very simple to replace. You see this cage here that runs around? There are, you know, the star screws, safety screws? There are safety screws around the edge. We just take this off. We then can pull this off the platen, put the new one in, put the cage back on, and it's done. Okay? Very easy. Saw that before. There is this here, there is a fuse in here, a slow blow glass fuse, okay? So you may have that your screen is blank, you've got no power to your screen, it could be that this fuse here is blown, okay? Again, I would show you in the grill, but we don't have a grill to show you some. That's your mains voltage coming in. Diagrams all in the manual, sliding diagrams. Okay. So, what I want to do is, we have 40 minutes before we have lunch. After lunch, we're going to go through RAM. Does everybody know what RAM is? No? RAM is the automatic fry dispenser from McDonald's. Yeah. You seen it? It's like a big yeah. I'll show you.
You just put the big freezer.
Yep.
It's stable.